Surprise! What's good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Y'all, we are here today to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 7. And the name of the episode is called Above Deck and Below the Belt. Now listen, y'all asked me to watch this show and review this show. And I have caught up on the show and I've been watching it. I just haven't been talking about it because I felt like it was kind of boring. I really wasn't into the girls. Or maybe I thought that it probably would be too much on my plate to review. But here we are. We finally got something to talk about. I'm all caught up on the show. And we're not going to touch everything. We're not going to touch everything. We're just going to talk about the most important stuff of the episode and with the girls, right? So first of all, I love and thought that it was genius that they added the Below Deck crew to the show. I thought that we was going to get that with the Real Housewives of Miami because they were saying that all of the girls got invited to a yacht with Captain Sandy. I didn't know who Captain Sandy was. Shout out to Mims. Mims had to tell me who Captain Sandy was. And that's the thing. I've never seen any of the Below Deck at all. So I don't really know who it is, which is funny because all of my friends are trying to keep on asking me, am I going to go to BravoCon? But I don't think I watch enough Bravo content to go. I only watch the Housewives, and I don't even watch all of the. Well, at this point, I feel like I watch all of the Housewives except for Jersey and Orange County and New York City. But I don't watch enough Bravo content to go to BravoCon. I kind of want to watch the Big B Dynasty, but I don't think I have enough time to even watch that. But to get with this episode, again, we're reviewing Season 6, Episode 7. So the girls arrive at the airport, and they're going to Heather's yacht trip to Canouan. And so they're going to be flying to Newark and then to Barbados and then to Canouan. Now, when they made it to the airport, Whitney ended up receiving a text from CONWYN saying that she was sorry for the late notice and she wasn't going to make the flight. But she's still coming, but she was going to meet them in Canouan when they got on the boat. Now, I believe that Bronwyn and Todd probably was in their house fighting. Not fist fighting, but I don't think that Todd wants her to do this show because a lot of stuff from her past might come up and affect his business. And that is the toxic part of Bravo and being on reality TV, right? That stuff from your past could be brought up. He probably forgave her past, but it's probably not a good look. Now, I want to see what was over there sealed. I do, okay? So the girls make it to Canouan, and they're going to get on the yacht. Now, the driver told them that Canouan is a billionaire's playground, which is funny because I feel like I want to be where the money is at, and I never heard of Canouan before. And I've also never been on the yacht before either. But when I saw, let me tell you how much I've never been on the yacht before that I don't really know what's going on. When they said that that's the yacht, I thought that the yacht was small. I don't know what I was expecting. You know what I'm saying? I guess I was expecting the Titanic. It didn't look big to me, but the girls thought that it was gigantic. So I said, well, shit, I guess it's gigantic. Gigantic. I don't know what I was expecting. Okay. The women get on the boat and they meet the crew. And I see that the women have a crush on Captain Jack. Okay. And so they asked Heather in a confessional if she was stuck on the boat with Captain Jack, what would she bring? And she said that she would bring a bikini and condoms.
I know that's right. I know that's right, bitch.
I know that's right, Heather. Heather said a nigga fine, but I'm not giving a nigga a chance to leave me stuck raising no kids by myself again. And I feel that. Now, Heather let it slip later on in the episode that her and Captain Jack fucked around, but nothing was there. Baby, that Heather is something. Let's see, I remember the first season. I did watch the first season, half of the first season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I remember Heather went and messed around with a black man in a U-Haul van. You know, she friendly pussy, okay? But when the girls got on the boat, there were some bartenders on the boat and they were serving them drinks. And Lisa gonna tell the bartenders, after this, I'll only have my tequila and I'll make sure you have it. Is Lisa tequila even good? It's just something about Lisa that seems insincere to me. It's just something about Lisa that seems like a fraud to me. She gives me fake gangster, fake mobster. And I think that she has like a nasty disposition to herself. But I'm fair. But it's something about Lisa is just rubbing me the wrong way. She just seems very, very nasty. And she's always seemed like that. I've always seen that in her ever since the first season of the show. How she talked about Heather was a fun girl and was like raising her, but she just always seemed nasty to me. Then we got Britani. Baby, Britani is old dick hungry asshole. Britani literally flirted with at least 3 or 4 guys that work on the boat. One of the workers. What are they called? Stewards and stewardess. I've never been on a yacht, so don't judge me. I'm not cultured in anything they got to do with a yacht. But to Britani, she just wants some dick, and any old dick will do. And I think that is crazy because she's supposed to be taking a 30-day break from Jared for the sake of her daughters. And in my head, I would think that taking a 30-day break from Jared means taking a 30-day break from men, dumb Dora, right? And while she's supposed to be taking a 30-day break from Jared, she said that he came over before she left to help her pack for the trip.
You're horrible, mother.
You can't leave Jared alone for the sake of your daughters? And then check this out. This fool gonna give her a stuffed animal with his voice saying, "Good night, baby. You are loved." It's something real deep there going on with Britani. I just think that it's crazy because the whole idea was for her to take a 30-day break for Jared to save her relationship with her daughters. And she doesn't seem to really want a relationship with her daughters. And she put men above her daughters. Now, I will give her credit for being honest about it because a lot of people will gaslight you to have you thinking that they don't do that. And I've had to have some talk with some of my friends and some family members who I've seen put men before their kids. And I had to call them out on it. And they will gaslight you. And I think that what it is, I've seen a lot of women have these kids to keep these niggas. And when the nigga is gone, they kind of get stuck with the kid because the nigga ain't there or ain't really halfway doing shit for the kids. And then they don't want the kids no more. And so they still out here looking for love. And I'm not saying that happens to all women. Don't try to mix my words up. But I'm saying I've seen it with some women that I know in my personal life and family members in my personal life that I had to call them out on. And in my head, I just couldn't see putting anybody above not even my mama, above my kids. Now, I think that it may be different in the marriage or if you're with the kid's father or mama. You know, when you and your spouse have the same children, the same mama and daddy, when you still with your baby daddy and y'all got the same kids or your husband or whatever, I would think that they would both, I think both parties will have the best interest of the children at heart. So I can see online, you know, you always see these surveys online on saying who goes first, the kids or your husband or the kids or your wife. I can see a person putting their spouse first if they both have the kids' best interest at heart. But there is no way I'm putting the person above my children who is not also the parent of my child. And so what I'm saying is Tar will never come before Riley.
I don't give a fuck what y'all saying. I don't give a fuck what y'all saying at all.
Tar will never come before Riley. Nobody who is not the father or the mother of my child, who is not my child's parent, will come before. And that's why I don't believe in ready-made families. It's too complicated for me. But I'm so blessed that I have a mother who have never put a man before me and my siblings. She has never done that. And I'm so blessed because I've seen it over and over again. But what I did notice when I started watching the show is that the girls kind of bully Britani, and I don't like it. I don't like no bullies. Whitney said that she didn't want to hear Jared's name on the trip, and if they did, that they would throw water on her. And Britani should have nipped that in the bud. Because to me, I feel like they was bullying. That is humiliating, and there's nothing fun about throwing water on Britani. And Britani didn't agree to that. And right in the same breath, she had said Jared's name, and Whitney and Meredith threw water on her. Now, keep in mind, from what I'm picking up, Meredith don't even like her. And you over here throwing water on me? I don't like that at all. And that put Meredith and Whitney on my shit list. And even the stewardess looked shocked, like they really throwing water on this girl? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because Heather had told him already, don't embarrass me on the street, girl. You would have been embarrassed because I would have been windmilling for my life. I don't like that. It kind of put me in the mindset of when you was growing up and people would get their birthday licks off on you, right? They used to hit you, so let's just say you was turning 12. People try to hit you 12 times and punch you 12 times. And the thing is, people who didn't even fuck with you at all, or didn't even tell you happy birthday, will see you getting your birthday licks and they'll try to put their hands on you and hit on you. Bitch, please. Bitch, please don't put your motherfucking hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. That is humiliating. Don't touch me. Okay? Now, the yacht looks nice. For all this yacht, it's only 4 bedrooms on the yacht. And in the 4 bedrooms, it's only 4 beds. So the women have to share rooms. So Heather and Whitney share rooms. They're cousins. And then we got Angie and Mary, Meredith and Lisa, and Bronwyn and Brittany. Now, Bronwyn ended up showing up and she got on some costume. And Lisa was throwing digs at her. I will say this, Bronwyn was doing a good job of ignoring the digs. That Lisa is a lot of work. She throw a lot of digs and she has a lot of smart things to say. She seems miserable to me, right? But Bronwyn, I noticed in a couple of episodes, Bronwyn looks to me like Snow White a little bit, she kind of favors Snow White to me, she gives me like a live version of Snow White. She favors Snow White. Maybe it's the haircut. Whitney ended up giving one of the stewardess a bag and said that her valuables were in there. And when the stewardess opened the bag, there was a bag of Cheetos in there and a thick cucumber. And the stewardess went on to tell the rest of the staff as if Whitney was using it like a dildo. But the producers was asking the other women did they have a cucumber in their bag. So I went and rewinded to see who bag it was, because we just seen her in the room and I wasn't sure if that was the same bag that Whitney gave her, but it in fact was the same bag. And if I was Whitney, I would be offended. But on the other hand, that's what your ass get, because you can pack your own fucking bags. You can pack and you can unpack your own fucking bags. Who the fuck do you think you are, Beyonce? Like, no matter how rich I get or how much money I get, there are some things I'm doing on my own. And I don't want nobody touching my underwear. You know, I grew up in the South, and so my grandmother, there was a lot of, what do I call them? Things that we just didn't do. Like, for instance, if you swept over our foot, we have to spit on the broom. You don't leave your hair and nobody comb or nobody brush, because they'll put a root on you, and then people playing with your underwear and stuff like that. I don't believe in no shit like that or whatever. So I still want to be able to unpack my bags and stuff like that. I don't know who Whitney thinks she is, girl. That's what you get. They running around here asking who the cucumber was, but see, they didn't ask Whitney. They asked Angie, they asked Bronwyn, they asked Meredith, and they asked somebody else. They asked 4 of the girls. So the women ended up having lunch. They changed their bikinis and ended up having lunch. And they're talking about Bronwyn charges. Now, before we talk about the charges, last week at the end of the episode, Bronwyn was trying to blame Lisa for her charges and stuff leaking in the press. And I was like, bullshit. But after this episode, I'm like 50% sure Lisa had something to do with it, right? So Bronwyn basically says that she was 19 and pregnant and she got kicked out of college and she didn't pay her last month's of rent. And the blogs are saying that there was some charges from 4 years ago. And she said there are no charges from 4 weeks ago. From 4 years ago. She said that something came up at work and she cooperated with the police, meaning that she snitched. Look, I don't have a problem with people snitching, especially if I didn't do nothing. If I didn't do nothing, I'm not going down for it. So I'm telling, period. Okay. But she said that charges was filed, not against her, and the records were sealed. And they say, so what was it? But she said that she can't talk about it. Can you not talk about it, or can you not talk about it on camera? Because I'm pretty sure you and Todd talked about it and y'all talked about it in your household. But I do think that your castmates will give you a little grace if you let them know what was going on. But I can understand you not talking about it because you don't really trust some of the girls. But she said that she feels like some of the people in the group are leaking the information. And here's the thing. Bronwyn is a public figure. So the information is obviously out there for someone in the group to get it because it's public record, right? Everything that she's saying is public record. The only thing that we don't know about the inside of is what is sealed. And so I don't like that Bronwyn is trying to shift the blame to someone in the group. No, baby, own what you did. Own what you did.
did this! You did this! God damn you! You did it! I know you did it!
Speak
You did! Yes, you did! Yes, you did! Yes, you did it!
What are you mad that it's coming out for? On what you did. And so Meredith's saying, look, I didn't go digging. Girl, why not? Because she went digging on Lisa. She knew all the specifics of what was going on with Lisa. And I don't feel sorry for Bronwyn because she was ready to talk about Lisa charges when they was in the press. And I just feel like when there's dirt out there about you, you have to move different. Because when your stuff come out, you're going to want grace, right? When she went on the camping trip, Mary and Angie's camping trip, the first episode, and she got shut down because she was trying to bring the charges up, she went and filmed a separate scene with Whitney just so she can get her shit off on Lisa. And so everything is public record, so it's out there. I feel the same way about both of them. You went and read what was going on with Lisa and talked about it on camera, and Lisa done way better than me because we would have been talking about it on camera, everything. And I wanna know what's sealed. Okay? Now Lisa said nobody here would do that.
You's a stupid motherfucker!
And Lisa is the reason why the Miranda rights are out. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used against you in the court of law. Lisa is the person who should remain silent because she literally sat there and told on herself, right? Everyone at the table was looking gagged. Like, girl, you really just said that? And the thing is this, Lisa. In life, you can only say what you wouldn't do. You can't really speak on what somebody else would do. And to be honest, you don't know what you would do if push came to shove. So you can only say what you didn't do, right? Because you don't know what you will do. She said that she doesn't think that it's weird because Bronwyn dug up stuff on her, but it was not in retaliation, and she didn't do it. It's like you sitting up here telling on yourself, right? And Mary was the one who was straight up. Mary was straight up like, put a name on it, girl. Who you know who did it? Lisa did it. She said it. That's what Mary. I heard Mary say Lisa did it, and Lisa said, "Don't say it was me. It would bother me. It would trigger me, girl. Who the fuck cares what you gonna do, big bad wolf?" Lisa did it. We think Lisa did it, and then Lisa screamed, "Well, who found my stuff to the blogs? Who cares?" It was. You're a public figure. I feel the same way with Bronwyn. I don't really care who put the stuff in the press. It's true. It was a lawsuit. You said that the stuff wasn't true, Lisa. Okay, it is what it is, but girl, it's a lawsuit and it was filed. The same thing over here with Bronwyn. Okay? So the girls ended up getting in the water. They ended up going swimming. There is no way I would have gotten in that water. First of all, I can't swim. I'm 6'6", and I have always been taller than the water, right? When I first started going swimming, I used to be in 3 feet. I would never go to 6 feet, but once I got into 6 feet, once I got taller, I was able to stand in 6 feet. I never really had to swim. I've never been into a pool that was 10 feet. I've been to a pool that was like 8 feet, and I was never like in a pool. I was just standing on the side holding the edge of the pool. So I can't swim. And in the water, I don't know if there's any sharks or alligators in the water, and you could never be sure. So there's no way I would have got into the water. Now, Mary, she didn't get in the water, but she was on the platform off of the boat. That was too far for me. I wouldn't have left the boat. I just would have been. You remember last season on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, how Bose and Garcelle was sitting still on the boat while everybody was jumping in the water? That would have been me. That would have been me. I would probably would have watched TV or something, or been eating some apples or something, doing something, talking to the steward and the stewardess, or talking to Captain Jack. But I definitely would not have gotten to that water at all. Now, Angie is seasick. I feel like that I probably would have been seasick on the boat too. And plus, I'm claustrophobic, so I know I would have been sick. And I don't like to be trapped. I don't know the name of it, but let me explain it to y'all, and y'all tell me what it means in the comment section, please. So, for instance, I'm in, you will consider this like an office in my apartment, right? I can stay in this room all day and not think nothing of it, right? But if you tell me that I can't leave this room, or if there's something that is going to prevent me from leaving this room, it would drive me crazy, right? So I say that to say, I don't like the idea of being trapped on the boat for several days and me knowing that I can't leave this boat. It'll drive me crazy. that I won't be able to get off of this boat for 4 days. It'll drive me crazy, okay? Now, Angie is throwing up. She's been throwing up since she got there. I don't know why she got into the water. And the comments that Lisa was making was just nasty. I would have been fucked her up. I would have been fucked her up. She just seems miserable to me. And so after this, Angie was sick, and she stayed into the room, and Mary stayed with her and held her down like a real sister. I didn't like the way that Angie and Mary was saying sister last episode. And Mary lied last week. Mary said that she didn't say fart when she was over there at Angie's house. Mary, you definitely said fart first at Angie's. You did say that you farted over there, okay? But Mary, she did hold her down like a real sister. Mary didn't complain. Mary didn't seem upset about it. She stayed in the room with Angie the whole time. Now, they said that Angie had to get her sea legs. Is that contagious? Is that a real thing? And is it contagious? Because she was really throwing up, right? And I'm only asking because Mary and Angie were sleeping in the same bed, and I don't know if it's contagious or not. But Mary obviously said that she's been on a yacht before because she said that she don't get seasick. Now, Whitney messy ass was talking to Bronwyn, and Bronwyn said that Lisa told on herself because she never accused her of leaking the information. But to be fair, Mary did, and I don't know if Bronwyn heard her, but Mary did accuse Lisa of leaking the information. Bronwyn is saying that basically she got into a fight with Lisa, and Lisa ended up calling her CONWYN, and then after that, people started calling her CONWYN online. But that's not the 8-ball in the hole that Bronwyn thinks that it is. The Bravo and Housewife fan base is very clever, and depending on who you follow, there are all kind of nicknames that people have for different housewives, right? I just seen a comment on one of my videos about Wendy, and somebody had called Wendy Othefto, right? I call Wendy sometimes Wendy Osufo, right? I call Karen the Grand Drunk. I call her perfume La Drunk, right? So there are names that people have. Just because Bronwyn hasn't heard it doesn't mean that Lisa started it or it started with Lisa. Especially something named CONWYN, right? That is it's just easy. So I don't think that's the 8-ball in the hole that she thinks that it is. So Whitney goes to her room and speaks to Heather, and Heather says that she thinks that Lisa leaked the information to the press, and so she asks Whitney to go and get Meredith so she can back her up. Heather is such a punk ass bitch, and my thing with Heather is I honestly don't think that Heather should bring it up or should have brought it up because she's the person that was hosting the trip. So they brought Meredith in, and Meredith is basically saying, look, they have no proof, and they're worried about who leaked the information more than the charges. And I agree. Because from what we understand, all of the charges are true, and it's public record. It's public record. Everything that they're saying is true, except for the stuff that was sealed. And if you're not going to tell us what happened, then we're going to go by what the penal code say. Well, it got something to do with this, this, and this, and you can't talk about it, so you can't really clear it up. Girl, please. Girl, please, okay? So they go to dinner. Mary stays in the room with Angie, and the stewardess is bringing Mary's food to the room. Britt says that she's not going to miss Mary's commentary, and Heather says that they only talk shit about people and people in their faces. Girl, since when? Since when? Because y'all had a whole conversation about Lisa at the camping trip in the first episode. And to me, this is another instance of them bullying Britt, because it seems like there's rules for Britt or Brittany. I don't want to call her Britt because that's like me putting flavor on her. But it seems like there's rules for Britt and not the other girls. Now, we can all agree that she's a horrible mother, but we're not going to sit here and bully nobody. If y'all mad at her for being a horrible mother, then just don't fuck with her. But I don't like to bully nobody. And so Britt says that she always says shit to people's face. And Bronwyn is saying, oh, really? Well, you said that you was tired of Lisa being a big sister. You're tired of Lisa big sistering you. And you said that Meredith is basically unhinged and always acting like she's about to have a seizure. And Bronwyn, I think that Bronwyn only brought that up so they wouldn't have to have a conversation about her charges. I see you, bitch. I see you, bitch. And Meredith gets upset and she tries to weaponize seizures and said that her child has them. And Britt was getting ready to say that her child had it. And Meredith said that she doesn't care. Well, bitch, we don't care about your child neither. We don't care about your child having seizures or nothing either. And so Meredith gets up and she takes her drink and she throws it on Britt. And I'm so triggered by people throwing drinks on people, right? I grew up in a very violent environment where the smallest thing or smallest sign of disrespect could cost you your life, right? And I don't think that people realize that there are people out there that are willing to die behind their respect. And so you throwing a drink on somebody, you better be willing to lose your life. Because if you do it to the wrong person, you can lose your life. You can lose your life. People are willing to die behind their respect.
Message.
You people are willing to die behind their respect. And so Britt tries to take her drink and she tries to throw it on Meredith, and Meredith blocks it, and it goes right into Bronwyn's face. And that's what Bronwyn gets. That's what Bronwyn gets. And I wonder what it's going to be like when they go to bed that night, because remember, Bronwyn and Britt are roommates. They're sharing rooms and they're sleeping in the same bed. Okay? Now, Meredith, she's pissed. Now, is it me, or did Meredith look like Caitlyn Jenner sitting at the table? Right? She looked like Caitlyn Jenner to me. And I don't like that Meredith threw that drink on Britt, because I don't think that she would have did that to any other girl on the show. I believe that she did that with Britt because they bully Britt. Maybe because she's a friend to the show. She don't hold the full snowflake. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they bullying Britt, and I don't like it. Okay? And so Heather says, look, we all need to be able to own things. And Whitney was like, well, there are some things that you need to own, you and Meredith. And see, that Whitney, that's a slick, I see you snowflake. I see you Pop Tart. She tried to put it all on them as if she wasn't in there having a conversation. And they tried to throw Meredith under the bus. And I didn't like that. And I also didn't like that Whitney and Heather was talking about it, and they went and got Meredith to join the conversation, right? It wasn't like they was talking about it with Meredith and the conversation just happened organically. Y'all was already talking about it, and y'all went and got Meredith and added her to the conversation, kind of forced her into the conversation, okay? And so Heather was like, yeah, we need to own some things when it comes to Lisa. And she tells Lisa, basically, I think that you're the leak. And Lisa goes off. Lisa is saying that she didn't do it. I'm not in charge of what people put out on the internet. And Heather is basically telling her, you need to own it. And Lisa's like, I'm not owning nothing I didn't do. Now, Lisa is saying in her confessional that she never looked up anything on these bitches. I definitely don't believe that. And that's the thing that Lisa does to me, where I feel like she goes too far. I definitely believe that you looked up things about these women online. And I definitely think that you went and got information about them online. Now, if the information is true, that's one thing. But if it's the stuff with Bronwyn is true, okay? And so Heather is telling her girl, "Fuck you! I've been a good friend to you." And Heather, you're not a good friend. If you were a good friend, you would have told her this away from the group. But you were scared and you needed backup, which is why you did, and which is why you went and got married. And so Lisa is telling Meredith, you better have defended me. The way that Lisa talks to Meredith, she definitely has some dirt on Meredith. And I think that the drink that Meredith threw on Britani, she should have thrown it on Lisa. But see, you ain't got the balls to do that, right? So Heather told Lisa to leave the boat, and she's now following Lisa. I don't get why Heather thinks that she can accuse Lisa of doing something like this and still think that she can hug her and still be friends with her, right? And I'm not saying don't be honest with your friend, but bitch, if you thought I did it or you wanted to ask me if I did it, you could have said it to me away from the group, right? Still on camera, but away from the group, or asked me, did I do it? Now, while they was arguing, Mary and Angie was in the room, and Mary asked Angie, did you hear that? And Angie said no, and Mary said, me either. Well, what the fuck are you talking about, Mary? Mary is funny. I do like her, okay? So again, Heather is following Lisa, and to me, I feel like she's basically trying to get Lisa to do anything so she can flip the switch and turn, instead of Lisa being mad at her, she can now be mad at Lisa. So she could be the one that's upset, a transference of energy. And Lisa is fake crying. She's calling John, telling him what happened. And can you please promise me that you're going to pick me up tomorrow? And the girls on the boat are just acting batshit crazy. And the below deck people are shocked. They are literally being every stereotype that people have for the Real Housewife franchises. Right? You know, most people don't watch Housewives think that these are crazy, entitled women. That's what they're acting like. And so the last thing I saw was Britani trying to get Captain Jack to give her a tour of the yacht. And he said he would, but not tonight. So he kind of declined because I felt like she was trying to get him in the bed with her. Right? And I feel like Captain Jack kind of got class to himself because at this point, you know, he already fucked Heather. Right? So he don't want to fuck you too. That's sloppy. That's sloppy. Okay? Now, I'm torn. I think that either Lisa or Whitney leaked the Bronwyn information to the press. It's something to me that's not right about Whitney. I think that if Whitney knows, if you've been a housewife for a long time, you know how to play the game. And I think that they knew that if it came out, that everybody would be looking at Lisa and not Whitney. And I think that Whitney is too invested. But I think that Lisa is a dummy. She's a loose cannon. And I think that Lisa is a person who will tell on herself even if she's innocent, right? And so I can see a world where she did do this, but I can see a world where Whitney did it as well and is trying to get Lisa to take the fall or get all eyes on Lisa. But it's kind of tough to say, but I definitely think that it was one of the two of them. But at the end of the day, I don't really care who leaked the information because it's true. It's true. I don't give a fuck how it got out there. It got out there and it's true, right? However, I don't feel sorry for CONWYN. I don't feel sorry for CONWYN at all. She should have played her cards better. It's true. It's true. It doesn't matter who put it out there. It's true. Just like those lawsuits that she was talking about the first episode and second episode when she went and met with Whitney about, it was true and it was up for discussion. This is going to be up for discussion. And if you don't want to talk about you need to let us know what happened with the seal. You could talk about it. You can talk about it, okay? But let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Lisa did it, or do y'all think Whitney did it, or do y'all think that somebody else did it? And do you feel bad for Bronwyn or CONWYN? I don't feel bad for her at all. But thank you all so much for clicking on the video, y'all. I really appreciate the love and support, and I will see y'all later. Adios.